Doesn't seem to work. All right, so I'm going to subtract 8. Come on. Subtract 8. Subtract 8. 8s are going to cancel out. That gives me my 0 on the end. On the left side, I have x squared minus 2x minus 8. Now, the last thing we just learned about is to use the quadratic formula, but we don't have to go right to the quadratic formula. We can try to factor this, okay? So as I look at this, I'm going to see if it's factorable. How many terms do I have? 3, so it's a trinomial. How do I factor a trinomial? X box, and first I should always ask myself, what? GCF. So do I have a GCF here? No. Then I see 3 terms, so I'm going to do X box. Okay. So I do A times C. A here is 1 times C is negative 8. And what goes at the bottom? Which value? B, which is negative 2. Okay. All right, so I'm looking for factors of negative 8 that add to give me negative 2. What do you think? Negative 4 and positive 2. Does everybody agree with that? Yeah, 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and 2 plus negative 4 is negative 2. Now, do you remember the shortcut I gave you? That when you have just where A is equal to 1, that we can write these two as factors. So that means this is going to be x plus 2 times x minus 4 equals 0. That is only when A is equal to 1. If A is equal to 2 or 3 or negative 5, it won't work, okay? What do I do at this point? What do I do at this point? I have this factor times this factor equals 0. If your answer is 0, what do we know about one or both of those factors? They have to equal 0, right? So set each one equal to 0 and solve for x. So I'm going to say x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. Subtract 2, subtract 2. So x is equal to negative 2. That is one of my roots. And add 4. X is equal to 4. Those are my 2 roots for that problem. Okay. So again, you don't have to use quadratic formula, but we could have used quadratic formula and we would have gotten the same answer. Okay. Any other questions on 1? All right, number 2, is yours, can you see the whole problem or is yours kind of marked up? What is it? 3x squared plus x minus 1 equals 0? Okay. First of all, first question you want to ask yourself, self, is this what? Is this in standard form? Yes. Okay. Do we want to try to factor it? No? Is that a no? Want to go right for the other one? Okay. Honestly, I don't recall if it's factorable or not, so let's just go with quadratic formula. So before I get to quadratic formula, what should I be looking for? A, B, and C. So my A value is equal to 3. My B value is equal to 1. And my C value is -1. Okay? And actually, I know yesterday I was like going x equals blah, blah, blah. But let's go ahead and find the discriminant right now. Right now. So what is the discriminant again? Okay, b squared minus 4ac. B squared. So b is 1. So I'm going to say 1 squared minus 4 times my a value of 3 times my c value of -1. So everybody see what I'm doing? I'm going to have to find that anyway. I'm just deciding to find it first. So b squared, 1 squared minus 4 times a times c. So 1 squared is 1 minus 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 times -1 is -12. So I'm taking 1 minus a -12. So we can't have that double negative. So my discriminant is 13. That is a positive number. What is that telling me? 2 real roots. Okay? 2 real roots. So now I can go back and use this quadratic formula and say x is equal to the opposite of b. Well, if b is 1, the opposite is going to be -1 plus or minus the square root of 13 all divided by 2 times a, which is 3, which is going to be 6. So I'm going to say x equals the opposite of 1 plus the square root of 13 divided by 6. And x equals opposite of 1 minus the square root of 13, all divided by 6. And then you're going to need the calculator because 13 is not a perfect square. Okay? Hopefully there's a calculator near you. Again, this is really important to make sure you know how to do this. So I'm going to take opposite of 1 plus second x squared gives me the square root 13, and then you need to hit enter. You need to get that numerator at the top. Okay? Divided by 6. Enter, and the 2 arrows, and did anybody get an answer? Anyone?
0.434.
0.434. I'm going to tell you to round it to the hundredths place, which is 2 decimal points. Look next door. If it's 5 or more, then we increase the 3. It's not. So x is equal to 0.43. And if I look at the other one, opposite of 1 minus square root of 13, enter. Divided by 6, enter again, 2 arrows. I got, check mine, -0.767. Okay. -0.767. I'm going to say round to the hundredths place. If it's 5 or more, you increase. So this is going to be x equals -0.767 7, 7, and this was x equals 0.43. Those are your two roots. Okay? All right.
Good morning. Reader testing continues. Students testing this morning should make their way to their testing room. Thank you.
Any questions on those two problems? So again, that first problem shows you don't have to use quadratic formula all the time. You can use factoring. You just need to make sure it's in standard form and then see if it factors. If it doesn't factor, that's when you go to the quadratic formula. Okay? All right. So today, what we are doing is a problem trail. There are 7 problems around the room. They are on this orangish salmon colored paper. Okay? Problems 1 and 2 start in the back, 3, 4, 5, 6 here at the front. And the problem number 7 is over here under the everyday I'm messing over there. You do not need to start at problem 1. You can start at whatever problem there is. And I would love to see you do this in pairs. Okay? So that way you've got people kind of working with you. 2 heads are better than 1. Do you need me to match you up? Or do you want to kind of match up yourself? Or do you want to do it on your own? But if you come to me and like, I don't know how to do this, I'm going to be like, well, did you talk to somebody? Did you have a partner? All right. Nobody's saying anything. Love it when that happens. No, I don't. I'm going to see if you can match yourselves up first, and then if I see that's not happening, I'll try to pair you up. But here's what you need to do. So you need to go and start with any particular problem, okay? And everybody's going to put their problem where it says number 1. Even though it's not problem 1, that's the first problem you're working on, okay? And the small number 2 is the second problem you're working on. So if you go up here, this is problem 5. Let's say Firey's going to come up here and she's going to work on problem number 5. When she gets an answer, it tells you to go to the next problem. Let's say she got the answer of 0. It says go to problem number 1. So for number 1 on her paper, do you see the little blank? She's going to put problem number 5 because that's the actual number of the problem. The second problem she's going to, she goes to the second blank that has the small 2, and she's going to write under that problem number 1. So do you see how this works? Okay. So then you should be able to get through all of these 7 problems without doing a repeat. If you go back to one that you've already done, that means you've made a mistake somewhere. Okay, so come and check with me if you have made a mistake. You may need the calculators on a couple of them. Looks like number 5 you might, and I think number 7. But the rest of them, I don't know that you need a calculator. Okay? So here's what I would like to happen. We're going to work on this for most of the class period. I'm hopeful in 30 minutes that we can get these 7 problems done. I'm not sure. And if there's time left over, then we will pass out, or when you get finished yourself, I'll pass out the review worksheet, and then you can work on that, and we'll work on that tomorrow also. And test is Friday. She is not here. Thank you. All right, any questions about what we're trying to do? Okay, so go right to a problem right away. Try to get these 7 problems done as quickly as you can, okay?